the show.
Let's get it. Thank you for coming to my house, man.
Absolutely.
I'm excited. Let's get it going.
This is awesome, man. And so let's kick it off first with just your journey into training young athletes, coaching young athletes. Coach, let's start at the beginning. What inspired you to become a coach, trainer for young athletes? Was there a pivotal moment that helped shape your decision? What was the linchpin that said, you know what, I got to do this?
Well, it all started when I was a youngster, man. I was that kid. So the foundation brand is exactly what it means, the foundation. When I was growing up back in New York City, whenever I came to the park, I wasn't one of the best guys coming to the park, right? I always had to wait for next because I was good, but I wasn't good enough to make the first squad most times. So I found myself, and even in school, I had to train and develop. Schoolwork, I had to go home and study, hit the books because I was smart, but I wasn't smart enough to retain information that I wanted to. And then in basketball, that was my way out of the streets, and I wanted to make sure I was good, but all my friends was naturally talented, you know? They would just show up, they would wake up and come to the park and be that guy. For me, I had to go to the park and then do my training. So skill development was a key part for me to be able to break into that inner circle to where I'm like every other kid that come through my company, they want to be part of that social network of basketball friends.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And how do I get there? I'm not the elite level player out the gate. I'm talented, but I got to work. So I had to train and develop to play basketball, to be in that company. And that's how Foundation was bred and born on the streets of New York City. And that's how it became hard work and development. Because if you don't put the work in, I wasn't able to get high grades and be one of the elite athletes growing up. And mind you, New York City growing up, I was out of high school, I was honorable mention all Queens, New York. So, you know,
Queens,
all Queens, New York, honorable mention when I was playing basketball. And then, you know, in the city, that's a big deal when you can make it out of 5 boroughs. There's a lot of good talent out there.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, it was pretty dope.
It's a big city, you know. You're a small fish in a big pond. So if your name could get out there in New York, what they say, if you make it in New York, you make it anywhere.
Yeah, you can make it anywhere. Concrete jungle, baby.
Hey, I love it. I love it. With youth sports comes, you know, dealing with the parental aspect of it all.
Yeah.
How have you seen the role of parents evolve in youth sports over the years?
Well, it's a great question because, you know, I've been doing Foundation Academy Sports this is on our 3rd generation. This is almost 25 years of development. So every decade is different, and parents in this generation, opposed to the younger generation, are more, what we say now, raising sheep as opposed to wolves. Because what that means is, no disrespect to anyone, but we are so busy holding our kid hand and fighting their battles that we don't allow them to make mistakes and figure out how to become young men and women, because we're about protecting and holding and teaching and guiding. When I grew up, and again, it's no disrespect, if you fell down, you had to get up. My dad wasn't helping me up. I went to the park, I didn't get it. Go out there and do it again, because we had the older people that hooped, that pushed us around and played tough. And when they played tough, you can't go back to mom and dad like, hey, I got bullied in the park. No, bro, you got a lesson in the park. You went to the gym and got a lesson from some older heads that gave you some valuable knowledge that you weren't ready, but I'm glad you're here. I'm gonna teach you. So those are the hard knock life things that I grew up on. And so to answer your question, parenting is different now, again, because it's all about not having my kids struggle like I did. I think that's the wrong message. They have to struggle. They have to learn, so that way when they're out in the world and you can't protect them, they're not calling you and worried about what should I do? Because as a youth athlete, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12-year-old, y'all take these kids to trainers and y'all sit there and watch them, and you're always coaching them when the trainer's coaching them. That's wrong. If you want to coach your kid, then you go train them.
Absolutely.
Right? Because most times they're like, oh, he's not working hard enough. He's not going hard enough. Go harder, go faster. Again, that's a misnomer. Because when you're developing, we'll give you an analogy. When you're teaching your kid how to drive his car at 15, 16, you don't take them out to the main street, to the highway.
Yeah, we don't put them on I-95, baby.
They drive in the parking lot, right? Until they understand how to navigate the brake, how to turn the wheel, how to, you know what I'm saying, how to read the mirrors.
Yeah, no doubt.
Right? And then you take them to your street, they can drive in the cul-de-sac. So now they can see people, cars, distances, right? And then they progression, right? Most people want to go to trainers and do skill work at maximum speed. Doesn't make any sense. They can't control the basketball going fast. You build the control, you jump stop, you build your footwork, you work on your angles of the basket, you work on your touch, right? And then progression and maturity,
I love it,
right, grows into a complete elite level player based on the amount of hours that they put in. They say 10,000 hours makes you a master, right?
Yeah.
I don't know, right? It could be true, but the hours matter when you're being trained the right way and you're not being interrupted, because the progression takes steps. You cannot skip steps in any process.
But I paid my money, coach, and my kid, I know he's the next one. He's going to the league. Put him in, train him hard, right? I see things that he's not doing and things that you guys are not doing, and you need to do X, Y, and Z. What do you say to that parent?
Take your kid home. Because if you want what you're telling me, then you should train him yourself. Because at the end of the day, training in progressional stages is important. Because yes, I'm going to train him hard. That's no doubt, right? But hard doesn't mean full speed. Because there's so much teaching and developing and showing, so that way they can master each drill before they move to the next one, right? Why am I showing them all this stuff when their footwork is off, their balance is off? Your kid can't shoot the ball the right way because we have these bad habits. And yes, we want them to perfect it and go hard, but it doesn't make any logical sense. You don't drive 55 in a school zone. That's why it's a school zone, because it's 25 miles, because there's kids coming, right? There's so many distractions on the basketball court. Your kid has to learn how to manage the team if they're the point guard. They have to learn how to manage the clock, the score, right? They have to know when a defense is changing. They have to call an offensive set. They have to make sure their teammates are in the right spots. If your table is not set, as a chef, you can't feed no one, right? The plates aren't out, the dishes. I don't give you all these analogies, right? But the analogies make sense, because when your wife is at home and she make dinner, somebody got to set the table.
Absolutely.
So we all can eat. You have the proper utensils. Right.
I'm thinking about what you're saying, and I'm thinking about where you said, learning balance, learning how to read a defense if you're the point guard or a guard. Just learning the proper footwork and things of that nature. And I'm thinking about a foundation, right? Of a house. If the foundation of a house or a building or a skyscraper, let's use a skyscraper. You're from New York,
right?
And it's lopsided, and I start building on it.
Doesn't work.
It
doesn't work. It's going to collapse. It's going to fall over. It's going to fail. The structure is going to fail, right? You don't have a proper foundation, good footwork, proper form, and as we all know, and here's another story, Steph Curry, right? I saw his documentary. When he was, I think it was 10th or 11th grade, his dad tore his shot down, restructured his whole shot, right? Because he was a small guard, but he was shooting from his hip to get the ball off. He broke it down that whole offseason and rebuilt it. This was the high school. I think it was the 10th grade summer, if I recall it correctly. He had to take his whole shot, and look at this man now, right? So it doesn't matter where you are. If you have the right training, the right regimen, and you're consistent, and then you mature, you can build a great foundation and then become elite as you go, but everybody want to skip steps and become the next NBA player. Basketball is a business.
They want a Euro.
Oh,
They're trying to dunk.
Euro steps.
Right? They're trying to do what they see James Harden do. They're trying to do the step back, man.
Step back. So here's the problem.
They trying to shoot the 3-ball, coach. Come on now.
So we always tell people when we play basketball, how many times you heard the term when they get a rebound or steal, go all the way. I'd be like, all the way where? Right? There was a defender back protecting the basket. When I grew up, it was a mid-range, stop and pop, because the referees aren't giving you that call, right? So, let's use Gibson, your son, for example. Mm-hmm. When you're watching him and he's a small guard, right? He has to master small guard skills. Chris Paul floaters, right? Mid-range pull-ups, right? Because when he gets too deep into the defense, he can't get the ball off. So if I'm telling Gibson, go, push it, and it's a guy back or two, that's a block or a change. The guy's going to change his shot. He's not going to make it, or he's going to get knocked down, and there is no foul, and Gibson will click on the floor like, hey, where's my foul? Or he Euro-stepped and didn't make the basket. Why? He should have stopped and popped because he created cushion.
He had the space.
Wow,
right? That's good.
He had the space. If you teach that, stop and pop, now the next two plays he can stop, show the shot fake, show the fake, and then the guy comes out, then I go, right? But that's the progression of learning how to play the game.
Yeah, and building that foundation
the right way.
Yeah.
Because as elementary school students and middle school students, they don't know how to chew bubblegum and walk at the same time. Let alone deal with peer pressure,
it's true.
Social media.
It's
right?
true.
I have to be good because my friend is good.
Yeah.
That's not how it works, man.
I love it. Real quick, what's the biggest misconception parents have about youth sports and their child's development? I think you touched on a little bit of it, but just in a sentence, what would you say that it is?
Overachieving. They think that their child is the best kid in the room every time, and that they don't make mistakes, right? I think that's the biggest thought behind that. And then their kid needs to score every time. So they don't know how to share the ball because mom and dad said, hey, that kid can't guard you. Okay, that may be true, but you can't take every shot because you got to get your 20. You got to make your highlight reel. It's a team sport. If you drive,
I'm guilty. I'm so guilty. I'm like, hey, take him. He can't guard you.
Right, which is true sometimes.
Yeah.
Right, but that means in an adolescent mind, I'm going to go every time I get the angle.
Yeah.
But then now he's not adding his second and third defense in the process.
Yeah.
Once I beat the first defender, it's another line of defense, which is the second layer, and then the third layer.
Yeah.
If I draw the second layer in, which is the help, then I should kick, right? If I get to the rack and draw 3, that's layer number 3, I have 3 options to pass to. We don't see that part because in your kid's head, my dad said, go get him, he can't guard you, he dropped his head, and he probably had the angle, but now he's in traffic, and he didn't read, so now we lose a game because 5 kids did that 5 times. That's 20 points. You know what I'm saying? Right there that we didn't get.
Yeah.
Right? You know what I'm saying? Off of the kick. So this is why the pros and the elite college players and other players, the game slows down and they make those reads because they're in control. And they may be in their bag for a second, but as soon as they draw the 2 like we teach them, you got to make the read. But that takes a long time to develop that because most people just want to score and they're in their bag about them. And they can't read the room or the floor because they don't know it yet. There's too much going on.
That's good, man. That convicted me. So
when you go watch Gibson, you're going to just sit back and chill.
I would just sit back and chill, take notes, just feel. I'm just going to feel. Let the big eye in the sky, he will watch film when we go home, But that's good, like teaching them to read the floor, teaching them to add some tools to their toolbox, right? Where it's just not go, go, go. It's like if you only have a hammer in your toolbox and you're, you're a contractor. You're not going to make it far.
You're not.
You know,
So you got one tool.
You got one thing.
That's
You got to enlarge your bag, right? I love it. I love it. Can you share an example of just a situation where parents' involvement either made or broke an athlete's growth? Just in your history of training youth, is there a story out there?
Yeah, man. Well, I mean, I remember a lot of stories, but one in particular is when you have a parent who has a kid, right, that they're sideline worst critic, right, because they're always pushing that kid to watch them because they have to please the dad and then go out and perform. And then when he does something wrong, the dad is mad. Because again, as parents, we have to realize that our kid wants to impress my parent first and foremost. If I'm a son and my dad's over there, I gotta impress my dad. I don't care what the coach says.
I've seen it.
Right?
I've seen it.
I don't care what, and no disrespect to the coach, but my dad is my idol.
But I'm the point, and I'm pulling it up the court, and I'm bringing it up, and I'm looking at dad for the play.
My dad said, "Hey, he can't guard you." My coach said, "Hey, run motion, run stack, run box," right? And
kid running ISO.
The kid running ISO, 8 dribbles, bro. You got the ball. Get off the ball. Yeah. So and then when he does mess up, he's mad. Yeah. The coach is mad. The parent is mad. So now the kid has distracted because he let his dad down. He just got pulled out because the coach ain't coaching against the dad. So now he's on the bench and he's mad at the coach because the coach is a hater. No, bro. The coach gave you an assignment that you should have done that. If you'd have did it right, you could have made the run a set and then got into the offensive set and still got the same shot without trying to play hero ball.
And it's a discredit and a disservice not only to your child, but to the team and to the coach and all the hours they put in preparing for this particular team.
Right.
Knowing their defense, knowing their tendencies, right? And coaching their team up in practice to circumvent and get around whatever they're going to see during that game. Right. Dad gets out there, mom gets out there, and just say, go, go, go. You know.
But in defense of the kids, I always got to give that part. Sometimes the talent around them requires them to go, go, go.
Wow.
Sometimes the talent around you, you can't pass to everybody in every situation, right? That's the difference in basketball, right? You don't have, even at the pro level, you hear it every time. LeBron needs more help. Wait, these are all pros. These guys make 10, 20, $30 million a piece. You mean tell me that this kid can't shoot, right? How is that possible at the elite, highest level of basketball? We still don't have quality teams from top to bottom. There's 32 teams in the NBA, right? Not many teams, only 8 to 12 teams can make the playoffs, right?
Yeah.
12 in the right, I think 8 or 12 in the East, and I think my numbers could be off, but a certain amount of teams can make the playoffs.
Right, and only X amount of slots available on each team.
So how come every year you have terrible teams when these guys get paid millions of dollars and they train all summer, right? But they don't gel.
And they have the top level coaching
everything
and trainers.
Everything is the best, right?
Right.
But these organizations, they suck. Why is that? Why is the Washington, we're in Richmond, so we 2 hours from DC. Why are the Washington Wizards so terrible when they owners have so much money, right? These guys are pros.
Right.
They all can hoop. They all pretty good, but they just can't win against other teams. They can't beat the Golden States and the New Yorks and the Clevelands who are hot this season.
Yeah.
Right? It takes a lot
the
of time.
OKCs.
The OKCs, right?
Yeah.
But that's the hard part about basketball. So my point is, every team has a team and they're not all equal. So you have 1 or 2 kids that are top dogs, but then that's knowing that kid's role. Yes, sir, maybe the best player, but I need him to teach and encourage this kid to take that little mid-range jump shot by empowering him. So, yo, listen, like Michael Jordan did back when he won them championships. Steve Kerr and John Paxson.
Yeah.
He said, hey, when they come and they double me, be ready. that gave them guys power to shoot the ball. If he just passed the ball, they don't make those shots because he empowered them. That's why I try to teach my leaders and my kids. And listen, when Gibson drives, Alex or Gianni, I need you to be ready because it's coming. Knock it down.
Knock it down.
Now, mentally, I'm ready as opposed to don't pass him the ball because he can't catch a shoot. No, bro. You just took him out the game mentally because now you don't even pass me the ball when you got 8 people on you. Right? And now I'm not ready and I fumble it or I travel and then you mad at me.
That's powerful. You just gave a master class at building up the mindset of a young athlete, right? And that's one of the things that drew my wife and I to Foundation Sports is the way that the coaches interact with the athletes.
Right.
You know, they're so mindful of that mindset, right? And building up the kid and also the culture too. And so could you just speak to how do you build a thriving culture, a winning culture, and a supportive culture? It seems like the kids that are on the bench, they're so supportive of one another. You don't find that everywhere. How do you build a supportive culture, a successful culture in youth sports?
Well, I mean, I think it starts with your coaching staff, the people who mentor these kids, right? And then when they come through the door, the first thing we want to do is make sure they feel comfortable. It's like every other program. It's like you go to, any other good restaurant or a good place. Once you walk and you feel good about where you are because the energy is there, because they know that I'm invested in you as an individual. I want to encourage you, right, wrong, and different. I'm going to be hard. I'm going to be mean. I'm going to be strict. But I'm also going to be positive and reinforce that, hey, if you do something right, you get accolades. If you do something wrong, you're going to get, you're going to shoot out.
Absolutely.
But it's going to be a balance. It's never always you're not good. That doesn't make any sense, right? Kids don't work that way. People don't work that way. As an adult, if you're working in your business or at a office and your boss is constantly on your butt, you're not feeling good about going to work. You're not feeling good about your projects that you're doing. You're always second guessing. So as humans, we have to have those good and bad teaching moments, right? So now we're talking about kids. So the way we build it is we always establish that you're good, you're going to be fine. Try it again. It's okay to fail. We tell them from day one, they walk through the door. The very first workout, I expect you to not know what you're doing, but we're going to make it through, right? We're going to get better. You're going to mess up. I'm okay with that. I'm going to teach you as you mess up to be better. So once we establish the rapport about, hey, your passing is not good, your dribbling is not good, let me show you. And then
failing ain't so bad.
Right. So
because I'm learning.
Right. Because most people, and this we went back to the culture we at, right? I told you about the decades of training. And this decade of youth sports, the kids they're sheep. They're nice kids. They don't know how to be tough. COVID had an impact on that, right? They've been in the house for 2 years. They lost their social skills and they lost the ability to defend themselves and interact with people because they didn't have it for 2 years. So now I gotta reactivate myself to what it means to go someplace new, fail and be embarrassed and then be okay with that.
As a middle schooler.
Elementary and middle school. Now middle school.
When I'm trying to figure out who I am, right? I'm a basketball player.
Right.
I'm not a young man. I'm not a young man with purpose and destiny. No, I'm a basketball player.
Right.
It's like you're more than a basketball player, guy.
And you walk through the door, when they look at the other people working out, they immediately get intimidated. Most of them. And I say, what's wrong? You good? And I always joke with them. Say, you nervous? Yeah, I'm nervous too. Right? I understand. Like, why are you nervous, coach? I don't know you. Right? But you don't know me. But let's break the ice. And when you make a mistake, it's okay because everybody in this gym are working to build themselves up individually. So no one is paying you no attention. So don't worry about making a mistake.
That's wild.
Because we all gonna make the same mistake. Same drill, 5 people in the same drill. they all gonna make 5 different mistakes.
This is the place where you make your mistakes.
Make your mistakes here.
Yeah.
I tell everybody, when we in concert, when Beyonce, Jay-Z, whoever's out there, when they rehearse in confinement when nobody's watching.
Yeah.
There's no uniforms, right?
Yeah.
No referees.
There's
right?
no sports writers.
There's no sports writers.
Yeah.
You making mistakes.
Yeah.
So when you go out there for a roll call and the lights come on and they start to line up or you sub in, everyone's in uniform, we all look good. Your mistakes is minimized because you worked on them here and I allowed you to make mistakes so you don't make as many when you play a lot of basketball. And as we know, basketball is a 50-50 sport. You want to do 50% things good, 50% things bad. It balances itself out. I always tell my kids, just don't get outworked.
I love it, Coach. That's a great point to end on. Our listeners, our viewers watching, how can they get more of Foundation and more of Coach Anderson? How can they follow up with you on socials?
Oh man, well, first of all, thank you for coming to my spot, man. So the Foundation Academy Sports on Instagram is what it is. Foundation Academy Sports, Coach David Anderson. We do skill development, summer camps, AAU travel teams. We are now affiliated with the Puma brand. We are on the Puma circuit from an AAU standpoint. So we got a lot of good things coming.
Any closing words to the young athletes out there aspiring to make it to the league one day?
Yeah, absolutely. So I tell all my kids this, and everyone that's in earshot of me. Basketball is a billion-dollar business, right? To be a player is only one part of the game. You can be in the basketball community and make money in broadcasting, refereeing, training, sports medicine, statisticians. There's so many business sides of basketball. Don't get locked in to just wanting to be the player on the court because basketball agents make the most money.